Shalom. I want to first and foremost give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Give double honors to the elders of Ruel and honors and Shalom to all the brothers out there doing the work of truth and sincerity. All right, it's Brother Alazar Benoit here. Want to kind of go into something. Been just searching the scriptures and seeing things and seeing certain recurring themes with three individuals in particular in the scriptures. I just kind of want to relate to the Akim out there. The edification through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. Now the three individuals I want to speak about, of course, are Moses, Elijah, and John the Baptist. Okay, three individuals who are three, premier, individuals in the scriptures. And the first scripture I want to bring out regarding the topic, though, is Matthew 17, and I'm going to start at 11. It's Matthew 17 and 11. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Elias truly shall first come and restore all things. But I say unto you that Elias is come already, and they knew him not, but have done unto him whatsoever they listed. Likewise shall also the Son of Man suffer of them. Then the disciples understood that he spake unto them of John the Baptist. Exactly. So that's right there in the scriptures, coming right out of Yahushua's mouth, that John the Baptist and Elijah are the same person. That John the Baptist is basically, Elijah coming back in the reincarnation. So that's, let's get that understood. Let's put that vibration out there. Okay, so it lets us know that automatically connects John the Baptist with Elijah. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to get this Matthew, skip back in Matthew to the 11th chapter. I'll go to Matthew 11 and 11. Verily I say unto you, just coming out of Yahushua's mouth, verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there have not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. So it said, up to that point in time, that out of every man born, that there was none greater than John the Baptist. That's coming out of Yahushua's own mouth, right? I want y'all to keep that in mind. Now we're going to go to Deuteronomy, the 34th chapter. And we're going to start at verse 10. And there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses. Exactly. So just like there was no greater, there was no prophet, there was nobody like John the Baptist, there was nobody like Moses. That says here in the law. Okay. Whom the Lord knew face to face. And in all the signs and wonders which the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt, to Pharaoh and to all his servants and to all his land. And in all the mighty hand of and in all that mighty hand and in all the great terror which Moses shewed in the sight of all Israel. So there was nobody like John the Baptist and there was nobody like Moses. I want to make these three connections because in essence, what we see here is basically three Moseses, in the sense that Moses, Elijah, and John the Baptist had the same type of roles, as we're going to see as the lesson unfolds. And basically they played the same part, just at different periods of time, throughout the scriptures. Okay. But again, remember, there was none like John the Baptist and there was none like Moses. Okay. And we know the scriptures, they don't contradict themselves. Okay. I'm going to get this though. This is, I'm going to go to Exodus. Go to Exodus 14. It's Exodus 14 and 21. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. So we all are familiar with that story. Moses parting the Red Sea, parting the waters through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? Let me get this 2 Kings real quick though. Let's make a connection. It's 2 Kings 2 and 8. And Elijah took his mantle and wrapped it together and smote the waters, and they were divided hither and thither, so that they went two over on dry ground. So what happened? The same thing that Moses did when he parted the Red Sea, Elijah did, and smote the waters and parted them and walked right across where the water was, and it was dry ground. You see what I'm saying? Which is real, which we gonna, Lord willing, revisit that, more towards the end once we start putting a few more things together. I want to get Exodus 24. Exodus 24:4. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning, and builded an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars according to the tribes of Israel. So what did he do? He built an altar, and he had 12 pillars on that altar, indicative of all 12 tribes of Israel. Right? Now we're gonna go to Leviticus. Leviticus. 1 second. Leviticus 9:24. This is Leviticus 9:24. And there came fire out from before the Lord, and consumed upon the altar the burnt offering and the fat, which when all the people saw, they shouted and fell on their faces. Now, real quick, I'm gonna jump to 23 just to give it full context. And Moses and Aaron went into the tabernacle of the congregation, and came out and blessed the people, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto all the people. And there came fire out from before the Lord, and consumed upon the altar the burnt offering and the fat. When all the people saw, they shouted and fell on their faces. So what happened? Moses and Aaron, they prepared the altar. They put the sacrifices on there, and fire came from on high and burnt it before Moses and Aaron. Okay, now let's go to 1 Kings 18. It's 1 Kings 18, and I'm going to start at 31. And Elijah took 12 stones according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob. Now again, the same thing, but stones and pillars. It's stones this time, but the same thing. Something to indicate the 12 tribes of Israel. Unto whom the Lord came, saying, Israel shall be thy name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord. And he made a trench about the altar as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. So what happened? He took the 12 stones and built an altar. Just like what Moses did, except for with 12 pillars, and built an altar. Now let's jump to verse 38. Then fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice and the wood and the stones and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. So it was the same exact thing. Elijah built an altar. Moses built an altar. Fire came from the Lord before Elijah and burnt up the sacrifice that was on the altar. Same thing with Moses. Okay. All right, let's go back to Exodus. Okay, this is Exodus 2:15. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses, but Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. So what happened? Moses knew the Pharaoh was seeking his life, so he fled, right? Now let's go to 1 Kings 19. This is 1 Kings 19:2. Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, So let the gods do to me, and more also, if I make not thy life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time. Now Jezebel was referring to the prophets who she had killed. So basically, she sent a messenger to Elijah to say, look, I'm going to do you just like I did them. I'm going to kill you, basically. Okay, I'm going to have you killed. Okay, this is verse 3. And when he saw that, he arose and went for his life and came to Beersheba, which belongeth to Judah, and left his servant there. So what happened? Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh. Elijah fled from the face of Jezebel. Both were wicked, Hamitic people who were seeking their life because they were doing righteousness. You see what I'm saying? So, same thing in both those instances. And we already know Elijah and John the Baptist is one and the same, pursuant to the words of Yahushua. Exodus 34. This is Exodus 34:28. And when he was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights, he did neither eat nor drink water, and he wrote upon the tables the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments. So what happened? Moses went up to that mountain for 40 days and 40 nights, but he didn't eat nothing, right? Now let's go to 1 Kings 19. Back to 1 Kings 19. 1 Kings 19, verse 8. And he arose and did eat and drink, and went in the strength of that meat 40 days and 40 nights unto Horeb, the mount of God. So what happened in the same case? He went up in the mountain 40 days and 40 nights, but he was eating and drinking, as opposed to when Moses ate, didn't eat and drink, because the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, sustained him, because he was before him. But see, in this case, the Most High, the presence of, the glory of the Most High was not before Elijah. So, he had to eat and drink, but he was still in that mountain for 40 days and 40 nights, same as Moses. Go to the next point, though. Okay, let's go back to Exodus. Go to Exodus 7. Let's go to Exodus 7 and 17. Thus saith the Lord, in this thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in my hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. So what happened? The Most High has sent Moses to deliver a message on the Pharaoh that, if you don't do, if you don't let, if they didn't let us go, basically what was going to happen is we're going to start bringing these plagues to Egypt, right? And let's see what happened. Was this 1 Kings 17 and 1? No, that's 2 Kings. 1 Kings 17 and 1, yeah. And Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as the Lord God of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word exactly. So what happened? They both basically went before a king and told him that plagues was going to come to this place, basically. In Moses' case, Egypt, but in Elijah's case, Israel. You see what I'm saying? They both went before that king and said, look, you don't get right, man. It's plagues come, before this place, basically. Okay. Okay. Matthew. Is Matthew 3 and 5. Then went out him Jerusalem and all Judea and all that region round about Jordan. So John the Baptist was always in and around the Jordan. That's where he liked to be at. You see what I'm saying? Get this real quick. 1 Kings 17. Back to that. 1 Kings 17. Starting at verse 3. Get thee hence and turn thee eastward and hide thyself by the brook Cherith that is before Jordan. Exactly. So Elijah and John the Baptist both was always in and around the Jordan River. That was the area where through the Spirit they was always dwelling at. They was always kicking it at. You see what I'm saying? So you got to remember these things, and these are the key things that align themselves with these individuals that support things, like especially in the case of Elijah and John the Baptist, when people will say, well, Elijah's not actually John the Baptist, that's just, a spiritual metaphor. In all actuality, it's not. Yahweh Shai said it, Elijah is John the Baptist. And when you sit here and you diligently compare and contrast the things that they did, you can clearly tell. As we know, reincarnation in the scriptures, you come back, you keep your same life, you do your same, the same things. You pretty much essentially the same person that you was in your past life. So if you in a past life was always kicking it in one place, and you still around that place in your next life, you're gonna be kicking it around there. You see what I'm saying? It's just in your spirit to do that, man. It's innately, engraved in you to do those things, man. From on high, of course. Move to my next point. I'm gonna go to Acts 4. And this is kind of what brings it full circle. This is Acts 4. And another point too, just a side note too, connecting Moses to Elijah, is the fact that when you read in the scriptures, especially in the book of Numbers, when you had jakes that was coming up against Moses, the Most High would cause things to happen that would take them out, whether it would have been fire, whether the earth opened up and swallowed their ass up. You see what I'm saying? Things like that was occurring when people would come and messing with Moses. The same thing was happening with Elijah. When all them soldiers was coming to get Elijah, that fire was coming down and all them soldiers was getting burnt up. So, that's another connection, which I didn't have in this lesson, but, I just kind of thought about it. That's another connecting Moses to Elijah. Okay, but I'm going to get this. This is, okay, this is Acts 4, and I'm starting verse 10. Be it known unto you all, and to all the people of Israel, that by the name of Yahushua HaMashiach of Nazareth, whom ye crucified, whom the Most High raised from the dead, even by him doth this man stand here before you whole. This is the stone which was set at naught of you builders, which has become the head of the corner. Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. So it's letting us know that Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, is the stone that the builders refused. So he is likened unto a stone or a rock, because he set up the cornerstone for this whole nation. But that stone and that rock is something that is of great spiritual symbolism and significance throughout the scriptures. You see what I'm saying? From Genesis to Revelations, it shows immense spiritual significance and symbolism. Okay, and we're gonna examine one of the ways it does right now. With that in mind, with Acts 4:10-12 in mind, that Yahushua is that stone that the builders refused. Okay, the next verse we're gonna go to 1 Corinthians. 10. It's 1 Corinthians 10:4. And did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ. Okay, so that rock was Yahushua, that spiritual rock that they drank from. Okay, and what is it referring to? If you're not familiar, we're going to get the verse real quick. This is Exodus 17:6. Behold, I will stand before start again. Exodus 17:6. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. So what did Moses do? He smit the rock, and water came out of the rock to, quench the thirst of Israel. Okay, but the scriptures say that stone that the builders refused, that was Yahushua. You see what I'm saying? And that rock that we drank out of it during that time period, that was Yahushua. You see what I'm saying? That was all symbolic of Yahushua. Okay, and I'm going to explain why after I get a couple more of these scriptures. Let's go to Matthew 4:14. John 4:14. And let's get some words straight out of Yahushua's mouth. This is John 4:14 when he's speaking to the woman at the well. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. So really, when the rock was spinning and that water came from out of that rock, it was all symbolic. What was it symbolic of? It was symbolic of that everlasting life and that water that, Yahushua is giving. Okay, which the water itself is also a metaphor. And we're gonna go to Isaiah to see what that water is symbolic of.